Oh, hey, you showed up. Just let me set these down. What's up? It's week 4 up in the His House, people, and you know what that means? We got a new book to read. God, I am white. That was bad. I thought wearing Nicki Minaj on my shirt would give me like a little bit of street cred, but that was bad. Let's rewind that. Hey guys, what's up? This is your girl Megan, and it's week 4. We have made it an entire month, and we have read 4 books, and I'm so proud of us, and I'm so amazed at how many of you keep coming back and watching these videos. I mean, I'm humble. Thank you so much for all the kind words, and for all of you who are participating in this. Before we start, I have 3 questions that everybody keeps asking. The first one is, where are you from? I either love or cannot understand your accent. And the answer to that is I was born and raised in a little small town in Alabama, which you probably couldn't even find on a map, but recently have moved to Florida with my adorable, adorable fiance. So the accent's probably a little thick, and that's really funny because I can't hear any of it. The second is, how old are you? I'm actually 25 years old. I know I don't look it, but hey, when I'm 40, I'm going to look flipping amazing, right? And the third one is, am I going to open up any other channels? And I'm actually thinking about it. So I'm thinking about doing a little movie review, maybe some makeup reviews. I don't know. It's all in the works. So if you think you should do it, leave me a cool comment. But let's get to why we're all here. We're all here because we are nerds to the fullest, right? We love our books. And this week, I promised that we would go over The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And I promise I'm going to give a heartfelt one because I know a lot of you left comments saying how much you loved it and how I had to read it and I would cry my eyes out. So fingers crossed, I agree with you as we go into The Fault of Our Stars. As I was saying, a lot of you went on and on about how I would cry. It was such an amazing book, and this book did spend an immense amount of time on the New York's bestsellers list earlier this year. And after a lot of the comments saying to read it, sorry as I shift around in my chair here, I just said, hey, what the heck, why not? So I went and picked it up, not knowing again what I was reading. I try not to do too much research on what I'm going to read because I don't like to go in with a preconceived notion of what I'm reading. I just like to go in with a clean slate and let the words come to life on their own. So this book is about a girl, and her name is Hazel Grace, which is what I like to call her. And she's a 16-year-old girl. She has terminal cancer, and she's been pulled out of school for a while, and she's come obsessed with this book, An Imperial Affliction. And some of us have probably read that. I know I did back in middle school. And she goes to this little support group. And in the support group, she meets her friend Augustus. So when we meet Augustus Waters, we realize that he's 17 and in remission. And they all go to their little support group, and it's in a church, and they meet in the center in a little circle, and it's in the literal heart of Jesus is what they call it. And so sad. I don't know how to say it. I mean, all these kids have cancer, and you're learning their stages and what they're having to go through and their treatments. And it really does tug at your heart because cancer is just so worldwide these days. As if you're not somebody with it, a friend with it, a family member. I mean, it's just, cancer has touched almost, it seems like, everyone in the world. And so you relate to this book on some level. And you just go through the story wishing that people this young didn't have to go through these type of things. But it does make you realize as you go through the support group talk that, that these people really hurt. And you really become emotionally attached to these characters. And as it goes on, Hazel Grace's comes a crush. It's her first crush on Augustus, and Augustus goes and they decide to swap stories and books, and he reads Imperial Affliction and she reads a zombie book, and they become inseparable. And it's Hazel Grace's first true love, but she's really afraid to hold on because she knows she's terminal, and she's really afraid that she's going to end up hurting somebody by falling in love and then dying. On the bright side, they do take some humor into the book. Hazel Grace has used her one wish for the Make-A-Wish Foundation to go to, as Augustus says, Disney World. How do you use it on Disney World? How cliche. Oh, Hazel Grace, how thusly I am disappointed. And it's funny because you think everybody always makes the wish to go to Disney World. And she explains it's because she did not know she was going to live past the age of 13. And she wanted to go to Disney. And luckily, he has saved his wish. And he wishes to go and meet the author of Imperial Fiction and to take Hazel Grace with him. And it's so sweet to know that there are people out there, and even that young God, such young love, that he would use his wish on this girl, and it tugs at her heart. And of course, they go and they have a great time, and you know something's a little off through the book with Augustus. You can tell he's acting funny, maybe hiding a secret, and she doesn't really know what it is. And I really hate to go into the ending of the book in case you haven't finished reading it. But I can say this. It's a total bend. I didn't know how it was going to end. I was really hoping that everyone would survive. But I will give a spoiler alert. Someone, doesn't make it through the cancer. And it's just heart-wrenching. At the end of it, I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit. It's just really sad, and I wish that I could have rewritten a different ending. I really do. So without going into the ending, because I want you to read the book, and I know that it's really hard to find time to balance life, work, and actually sit down and be able to enjoy a good book. So I will make this decision for you. 3 out of 5 stars. I know, don't hate me. I promise you won't unsubscribe. Here's the reason why. I found the writing a little easy, is maybe a good word. I like a little bit of a challenge, and I felt like it was definitely geared toward younger people, and it was written that way. Another reason is just, I don't like to be sad when I read. I want something that's going to lift my spirits, and I want something that's going to be fun, and, it just made me sad, and I didn't like laying by the pool crying. I did not like it at all. Another reason is I felt like a lot of it was repeat. Do I say read this? Absolutely. Give it an honest read. Do I think that it should be in your top 50 to read this summer? Absolutely not. And I know some of you are going to hate me because you are really passionate about this book, and I wanted to be. I really did, but I just don't like being sad. God, I just don't. And so I'm saying read the book, but be in no rush. And because you guys made me read such a sad book, it's safe to say that The Fault in Our Stars by Mr. John Green, and yes, I did get my signed copy, is going on the bookshelf, and I hope that I don't find anything this sad that I have to read anytime soon. So with week 4 over, I'm hoping that you guys are going to come back for week 5, and we are going to be reading something totally different. There I was trying to get my Nicki Minaj on. My point is, like I said earlier, I just moved to Florida. And when I moved to Florida, what do I hear other than zombie attacks? That's right. I have now moved from sweet home Alabama to zombies. So, I felt like it was only appropriate that next week we go over the Zombie Survival Guide. You know why? Nobody's eating my face. Going to be prepared. And we are going to read this because we want to be well-rounded peeps. We don't want to just read erotic romances, although just thinking about Christian Grey kind of gets me hot and heavy. But we don't want to read just sad books. We want to read everything. And I think that this is the way to go. I think it's going to be hilarious. I've heard great things. So run to your Books A Million, run to your Barnes & Noble, pick up your Kindle, pick up your Nook, whatever it is you got to do, and come back next week when we go over it. Until then, laters, baby. You're still here? You have no idea how excited that makes me. Because if you noticed, for those of you who've been coming back week after week, I usually ask a question at the very end. However, this time I decided to put it at the very end because I wanted to see how many of you are actually watching the entire video. So the question for this week was, would you have rewritten the ending? Who would have survived? Who would have died? What do you think about the dude that lost his eye? Give me some input. How would you have written the story? Because I think I would have rewritten it just a little bit. Tell me leave really cool comments. Promise you're going to come back. Make sure you go and subscribe. And for one of you, I'll give a really cool shout out next week. Until then, thanks for being awesome.